Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Darby Allen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here. Thanks for coming out, and thank you for TEDx for inviting me. My name is Darby Allan. I was the Director of Emergency Management for the Horse River Fire, which hit McMurray in 2016. It was started on May the 1st, around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was declared under control in July of that year, and it has never been declared extinguished. It was the largest human evacuation due to fire in Canadian history, around about 90,000 people. The fire grew to 1.5 million acres, and it is not the largest wildfire in Canadian history. So it's kind of a big event. I'm not going to talk specifically about the fire today. I'm going to talk about something that is quite dear to my heart, and it's about that I believe, it doesn't matter what type of event it is, what type of situation, it is the little things that make the difference. It is not the big things, the big decisions. It is all those little things that take place leading up to those decisions that make a difference in life, specifically more work life, but even in your own life. So I'm going to tell some stories, and I'm going to reiterate along the way that I believe it is the little things that make a difference, and I hope you enjoy those stories. So in 1983, I was joined the Volunteer Fire Service in England, and in 1984, I, with my wife's permission, decided that I was going to be a full-time fighter, and I was going to do that for the rest of my career. I remember my first fire as a volunteer. It was a fish and chip shop in England, and I remember my first full-time fire was a car fire in a back alley in some streets in Portsmouth. I can remember running up that road like it was yesterday with that hose over my shoulder, and this flames are roaring, and thinking this is the coolest thing I have ever done in my life. This is the best thing. I can't believe they're paying me to do this job. And we run up there and we put this fire out, and with a buddy of mine, and we pack our stuff up and we go back to the fire hall. And when we get back to the fire hall, my first captain says to me, come and have a word with me. Come and sit in my office for a minute, because I'm a rookie. And he said, you did great. You did good with the nozzle and everything. He said, but just a little word of advice for the future. You can't go running around with a big smile on your face. It's not good. It's not good for public relations, and in all seriousness, it's true. In all seriousness, we can't do that at emergencies. It's a person's emergency. It's the most serious thing that's ever happened to them. And although you might be having a whale of a time, you got to put a poker face on. Be serious. And he was right. And it was my first indication that the little things were quite important. Our career went by. My wife and our two sons emigrated to this wonderful country in 1990. I joined the Calgary Fire Department in 92, and I had the pleasure of working for a wonderful man called Captain Dale Mackenzie. He was the first man in my life, I think, that I recognized as a true leader. I still know him. He still is a true leader and a mentor in my mind, and I'd like to tell you a story about Dale Mackenzie. I was working at 12 Station at the time, busiest fire hall in Calgary for fires alone. And we've had a busy night. It's our second night shift, so we're a little tired already. We keep going, and now all of a sudden it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and we go to another one, and it's an alarm bells call at a strip mall, no big deal, but it's cold out. It's minus 35. And we're just about to get back on the truck, and Dale noticed a homeless man trying to get some sleep in a doorway, and he doesn't have anything over him. He doesn't have any cardboard. He doesn't have anything. And Dale said to me, you should go over and have a chat with that guy and see how he's doing. I said, sure. And I go over and talk to this man, and he was not in good shape. He wasn't breathing very well. He was freaking cold. And I told Dale that he wasn't doing great. He's like, yeah, we're going to stick around. We're going to stick around here, and we're going to get someone to come out and get him, and we're going to find him a bed for the night. And the rest of the crew didn't like that idea. They were tired. They wanted to go back to bed. And although it seems a little heartless, that's what they said to him. And he said, no, we're not going to do that. And I knew that was a special moment in my life, because here was a special man just taking a bit of time to try and look after another human being. And it meant a lot to me. And my relationship with him over the years has meant a lot to me. And he's a special person, and another indicator that the little things make a difference. So as my career moves forward now, I see every day how these little things are happening. And I do truly believe it's the big events that make the news, you know, the 5-story apartment fires, person getting shot, person getting killed, you know, people dying here or there. But it's the little things that make the difference to the people. It's the little things is the reason that the fire service has the respect it does. And I know that over the years I've witnessed those things, and I came to believe as I went into management that we would do the little things very well every time. So certainly we would go on those 911 calls and attend to those house fires and those people having a cardiac arrest. But if a little lady phones up and says, my toilet's blocked up and I don't know what to do, we will go to that call. And I mean that most sincerely. And we will treat that person with the utmost respect. And we will treat that call with as much enthusiasm and as much gusto as that single-story house fire. It is the little things that make a difference. So I was blessed in my career to be able to portray that to my people that work for me, and I'm very happy about that, and I do truly believe in that. So now we move on, and I am in a management position in the fire department. I had the opportunity to go to Queen's University, and I had a lecture, part of the reason I was there, I had a lecture for a day and a half by a man called Professor Julian Barling. He spoke about the little things. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I've been crazy all these years, and here's this guy telling me that the little things are important. And he spoke about Mandela and how little things had changed what he did. And he spoke about Martin Luther King, world-renowned, incredible leaders, where the little things had made the difference in people's lives that they had done. And I was so appreciative of listening to him and talking to him. I still communicate with him on a regular basis. He's a wonderful man, and I hope to see him again soon. So now, my true lesson, one of my true lessons in the little things was I get the fire chief's job in Fort McMurray. I'm feeling pretty good about myself, you know. I got the 5 stripes. I'm strutting around, right? And I go into work every day, and I go into my office, and I grab my coffee cup, and I walk down a long hallway. And the first door on the right, there's a man called Mahesh, and I say, good morning, Mahesh. He says, good morning, Darby. Then there's a lady on the right, her name's Teresa. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Chief. Next lady, Marie. Good morning, Marie. Good morning, Darby. Then there's a door that's a bit further down the road. And the lady in that office, her name's Brenda. Brenda's around 50-ish. You know, women don't like you to say their age, but she's in there somewhere. And she has a couple of kids. She's a single mum. She's worked for the fire department a long time. Heart and soul of McMurray. Lovely lady. Not shy in giving your opinion. So before I get to Brenda's door, as I did many times, there's another door on the left, and it's the shortcut to the coffee pot. And I'm taking the shortcut to the coffee pot. And I get in that kitchen, and I'm pouring my coffee, and in walks Brenda. She's in a little bit of a huff. She's not feeling great. Brenda, how you doing? Good, good, I'm good. Yeah. I said, you don't sound too good. No, I'm fine, really. I said, listen, why don't you tell me what's wrong? So you want to know what's wrong, do you? So I said, yeah. I said, I really do. She said, I'll tell you what's wrong. She said, every morning I'm at my desk working away, and I hear you come in and say good morning to Mahesh, and you say good morning to Marie, and you say good morning to Teresa, and you don't freaking say good morning to me. And it pisses me off. And she was vocal, and she meant it. And I said to her, you know what? I'm really, really sorry. I said, I do truly mean I'm sorry. I won't go for a cup of coffee again until I've been by your office. I promise you that. And all joking aside, it made a big difference in my life. It said, big deal, you got 5 stripes. There's lots of little people, not little people. There are lots of people that still relate to you and think you're Darby, and you should be decent and nice and retain those friendships and those relationships. And I'm still great friends with Brenda. She still shouts at me every now and then, but that's okay. So now let's get to March of 2016. It's day 3 of the fire that overtook Fort McMurray. I'm driving to work. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. I think it's clear. People are phoning me up saying, it's all over, Chief. We're coming home. Life's good. Let us go. You're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. And I get a call from a man called Bernie who says that the fire is spotted on the other side of the Athabasca River. 1,200 feet the fire jumped. And I knew that that was a significant time in events. And I went into work, into Regional Operations Center, and we had our morning meeting, and I told those 35 or 40 people in there we were in for a rough day. I didn't know what would be the result at the end of that day, but I told them that we were in for a rough day. I told them that they were going to need to elevate and operate at a level that they'd never operated at before. I told them that what they'd done so far was truly magnificent and wonderful, and that I loved each of them. And I couldn't thank them enough for what they'd done, but they needed to keep doing it. I told them, if you write one email, you spell check it, you look at it again, and you send it with that button, because it might be the most important email you ever write. If your job that day is to change the bathroom tissue in the washrooms, do it to the best of your ability. Don't think it's menial. It's important. It needs getting done. If you go to the coffee pot and drink the last cup of coffee, make another pot of coffee. It's important. It's the little things that make a difference, and I believe they did make a difference, and those people helped evacuate 90,000 people out of Fort McMurray. I told those people, we have a task ahead of us that nobody can really comprehend right now, but I know what we're going through will go down in history. Not because of me, but because of all of you and all the things that you're doing. I told them if I had a 500-piece jigsaw puzzle right now and I threw it up in the air, we're all going to have to pick up a piece and we're going to have to put that jigsaw puzzle together. And if at the end of that piece there is one piece missing, then the puzzle is not complete and the job is not complete. And it doesn't matter if it's the lowest person in the whole world, lowest person in the whole world who doesn't put that piece in, or if it's the King of England. That puzzle is not complete. And our job today is to complete that puzzle. They did complete that puzzle. I'm not a deeply religious man, but I know something shone down on us that day, and for whatever reason, we managed to pull off something that I still wake up thinking very, very grateful for. So the little things, in my opinion, help that, and I do believe in life the little things will help you. Before I close, like any person, I love my family quite dearly. My wife's here today. My 2 sons and my daughter-in-law, we're close. And when you get to spend time with your family, when at times you would think that you may never see them again, it becomes quite special. Sometime after the fire, we went to a little island called Bowen Island off Vancouver. We were celebrating my wife's retirement and her birthday. And we were going into a coffee shop, and my boys are in there, my wife's, they don't even notice. And outside there was a blackboard. And the blackboard had some words on it, and it was by author unknown. For those that you're going to ask me for it afterwards, I don't know who wrote it. But I looked at it, and it was almost like, wow, I can't believe I've just read that. And it kind of epitomized what we'd been through up there, and how many wonderful people and how many wonderful first responders and everybody that helped make that thing happen. It was a special time in my life, and I'm very grateful to have been part of it. Here's what the blackboard said. I got to get my notes so that I don't mess it up. It's impossible, said pride. It's risky, said experience. It's pointless, said reason. Give it a try, whispered the heart. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.